July 31st. Headspace. Canning fresh produce is a thing of the past for me, but I recall the great satisfaction of putting up, as my grandmother used to say, the freshly picked vegetables. During a bountiful season, preparing green beans and tomatoes for the canning process would take many hours. Snapping and cleaning, prepping the jars and lids, adding the salt, then standing over a very hot stove. The jars were then heated to the proper temperature. Finally, jars proudly sat lined up on the counter to cool as we listened for the little popping sound each lid made as it suctioned itself to the rim. When filling the jars, we were always careful to leave headspace, approximately a half-inch of room, between the contents and the rims of the jars. Without that space, the jars could explode, not having room for temperature expansion in the canning process. Exploding glass jars are not exactly desirable, in case you were wondering. That is not to say that I did not experience other explosions in my life. The pressures of living produce mounting steam for everyone. People tend to encroach on each other's space, demands outweigh resources, and life just gets messy. At one point in my journey, my adult daughter suggested I read a book aptly titled Boundaries. Feeling emotionally exhausted and out of control, I ordered the book. After reading it, I began applying the principles outlined, one of those being to build fences with gates. The fences with gates are boundaries securing your right to allow entry to those who respect you. The gate opens and closes depending upon that respect. Of course, that works both ways and must be honored by both parties. It is not fair or right to infringe on someone else's boundaries while expecting yours to be honored. It is like headspace, allowing a bit of room in your life for flexibility, avoiding a pressure buildup, which can result in a nasty emotional explosion. Even Jesus, and I would point out especially he, was our perfect example of setting boundaries. While thousands followed him and hundreds sought him, Jesus allowed 12 to follow closely, only 3 within the inner gates. He measured his time and energy wisely, spending much of it in prayer, communing with and listening to what his Father specifically directed him to do. And he was obedient in executing only what his Father instructed, taking on no more than that. Seeking God's wisdom and direction in all we do, including setting appropriate boundaries, allows us headspace, resulting in a harvest of peace as we obediently walk in Jesus' example. Mark 1:35. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Psalm 139:23-24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting.